And we out, chill. We back at it again. Man, I cannot find my phone. I got like 30 of these things. Okay, it's up in the dashboard. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. I am totally tripping. All right, so we back at it again. Man, I ain't gonna be on here long, man. I gotta go. Oh man, it's broke. Wow, wow, it's broke. So I ain't gonna be able to use this phone holder no more. And this is one of the good ones too, boy. R.I.P. R.I.P. One of the good ones. I don't know how I break this one. I'm blaming the kids for this one. I'm blaming these bad kids for this one. What's going on, Lonzo? I'm gonna drop the link, man. Be up here just talking. First, man, me talking about these bad kids. Cool game, what's going on with you? Talking about these bad kids, these misbehaving, all this stuff, man. Like it's getting out of hand. Like, bruh, what are we gonna do with these bad kids, man? Like, what's the motivation? We got to get rid of this bad behavior. We got to do something to counter these kids and they boredom or badness, whatever. It's gonna be running into the other kids acting bad. Man, I don't know. It's wild. But basically, I got some stories, for y'all. One time, let's go on and get into it. My little cousin, you know, she went to a freaking wedding dinner with me. And with her going to the wedding dinner, she's supposed to be on her so-called best behavior. What's going on right here? Going to the wedding dinner, she's supposed to be on her best behavior. I think she, at the time she was like three or something, three. No, probably about four. I think she was about four. So, she was to the point where she knew better. But I'm at the wedding dinner. One of my friends' sister got married, so she invited me on some last minute stuff, and she just wanted a good turnout for her sister because her sister ended up getting married spare the moment because they was gonna do the big wedding thing and all that, and they was like, yeah, man, let's just go ahead and we'll do the courthouse, or we'll just do a small ceremony, whatever. So I wasn't there for the wedding, but I came to the reception, and you know it was pretty nice. So I get my two little cousins, I bring them. One of my cousins, she just was wild, like she four. Her brother at the time, I think he was about 10, and so she sit up there at the little thing. I got her some little chicken wings, just finger food and stuff, nothing really too major. So I got her the chicken wings and stuff. She commenced to eating the meat off the wings and throwing the bones across the room. So I'm like, hey, what you doing? Stop that. She like, it's fun. So she ate chicken off the next one, did it again. So she was like, ooh, my friend was like, ooh, she getting out of hand. So I go over there, tell her again, stop. She threw another one. So I told her brother, go pick them up. Hey, we're gonna get these places to go. Sorry about this. I'm gonna drop them off. I might come back. She was like, cool, cool, cool. Man, I get her to the car and I pinch her right into place, you know, get her to the car, wearing them little legs out. And so she crying, oh, stop, stop, stop. You don't whoop me. You don't whoop me. I said, guess what? I am now. Man, I'm with a popping them little legs and, got home. She run onto her mama crying, he hit me, And her mama like, we putting your hands on my child. I'm like, you need to teach your child how to act. I'm like, there is no reason for her to be acting like that. She don't act like that with you. So why she gonna act like that with me? She like, don't nobody whoop my child but me. I say, guess what? If they in my presence, they with me, they getting whooped. You know, prime example. My cousin. I'm sorry, my wife cousin. My wife cousin actually, wanted her little niece. Wanted her daughter, which is my cousin's niece, whatever, to come over to the house. And I was like, yeah, she can come, no problem. And I was like, the first thing I told her, I said, but if she act wrong, she get it. And she was like, what you mean? You gonna whoop her? I'm like, yeah. I said, man, I don't take no disrespect from no kids. I said, I don't got time for you to be sitting here telling me what I can't do, can't touch you, can't do this to you because my mama and my daddy don't allow it. So I told her off the rip, I said, if they come over here, they get it, you know. And so it just got to a point where she didn't want a daughter at the house. Like everybody else, how she cool, I'm talking, I'm laughing. But when they get to a point when I say, hey, stop, go and play with somebody else, I ain't the one. Like they other look like her, the cousin that didn't let her daughter come to the house, her brother got a daughter, this little girl off the chain. She be calling her mama by her first name. I'm like, hold on. Like when I was young, I didn't know, anything too hard about the respect. I'm like, why a kid can't call a parent by their first name? And they were saying it was a sign of respect. I said, okay, I get it now. So as I grow older, I knew like, hey, it'd be funny to say it sometime, but at the same time, what's going on, conscious? Yeah, I dropped the link up there if anybody want to pop up real quick. I ain't gonna be up here too long. But like I said, I'm about to go over there to Wind Down Wednesday. Hands in the dirt. Shout out to the farming community. But anyway, man, I'm you know just sitting there just chopping it up, and the daughter comes in, start calling mama by the first name. I'm like, hey, hey. So I said, hey, what you doing? She like, what? She a teacher. Her students call her that. I'm like, but you're not a student. That's your mama. You gotta respect your mama. She's like, oh, I told her that she don't listen to me. I always be telling her she need to watch herself. Don't me. I'm like, take something away, whoop her. And she always coming around me, and I tell her, hey, I play with all the other little kids. I tell her, go on about your business. And she just look at me with a nasty look on her face. I say, go on, cause you're too grown. I don't play with grown kids. Girl ain't nothing but probably I think nine going on 10 or whatever. But she want to be so grown. I said, nope, go on about your business. I don't play with grown kids. Nope. Didn't see working what's going on. So I told her straight up, hey, you gotta go. All the other kids, they jumping on me, they playing, and I'm playing with them. But her, I kick her to the curb. She get mad every single time. I don't play with people kids like that, man, because she to the point where she's so grown, it go left real quick. And I told her daddy, I done told her daddy several times, if your daughter get wrong, I'm going to whoop her. I said, whatever we gotta do after that, we gotta do it. But I don't take no disrespect for kids. What's going on over 50? How you doing? Yeah, I seen your video earlier. A blast from the past. I like those older movies, they always come with a perspective and something you learn from them. Tell them, Stuart, what's going on? How you doing? How you doing? Morning, well, I'm sorry, afternoon. I'm always in the morning, so afternoon. Like I said, I ain't gonna be on here too much longer. I'm gonna go over there to Hands in the Dirt, Wind Down Wednesday. It's a gardening channel. They talk about gardening things, but just overall what's going on around. So I like they Wind Down Wednesdays. We used to have that real big in Atlanta, where they used to have downtown at Centennial Park. If anybody ever been to Atlanta downtown, they got something that's called Centennial Park, where they had the Olympics tribute and memorial stuff down there. So they used to have, it's like a open park where they have like concerts there, and they used to call it Wine Down Wednesdays. And before 19, used to always be every Wednesday in from spring to summer, every Wednesday. Spring and summer, every Wednesday had something down there. So I like that they keep it going online, and they do the Wind Down Wednesday over there. I think it's Bougie, Nikki, and Hands. But yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, 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 they was. But yeah, I'm just, getting up here talking about these bad kids. And, like I say, I'm like the old man in the family that nobody wants their kids around because I tell them straight up, I whoop them. Like even my kids, they don't get in trouble until they actually do something bad, because it's to the degree. I don't think being so aggressive on kids all the time, you know, but sometimes some kids need it, and to the point, far from me disrespect. That's the number one thing get you. My kids know being disrespectful to a teacher, being disrespectful to another adult, that gets you a one-way ticket to getting in trouble. And I think I probably whooped my kids probably less than 10 times, and that showed you how they get to a point where if they get sidetracked and they 13, every once in a while they got some more or less of just talking, because they never, get to a point of being misbehaving that bad to where I would have to whoop them. It's just more or less with them, talking a little bit too much or playing a little bit too much, and I have to tell them calm down, and they do it, you know. But it was never a point of that until they was getting in trouble in school, disrespecting the teacher, and that's when they really got in trouble, or to a degree. Other than that, never really get in trouble too much. Same thing with other little kids that I watch and deal with. It gets to a point where I tell you to stop, you keep doing it, and you could hurt yourself or injure somebody else, or more or less just doing something that's embarrassing. Like I said about my little cousin, throwing them chicken bones across the table for no reason. I'm like, the girl wilding. She don't do that with her mama. Her mama cut her long, deep, and wide, as the old people say. You know, so I garnered a lot of that from the elders. I was raised by my grandma, so granddad didn't take too much of nothing. I just feel like same thing rules apply. They say different strokes for different folks, but my thing is, why break the wheel? If it works, keep it going. You know, you can make the wheel better, but don't try to create a new wheel. Just make it better. You know, and like I said, I ain't got too much to go on there, man. And it just also want to chime in too on situations I've been talking to me and my cousin been having our little one-on-one conversations, and dealing with people just in their problems. Like, you're going through something, and instead of getting to a point of relief and feeling good, you want to bring everybody down with you. You want to pull everybody down. I'm like, that's crazy. Why I gotta go down with you? Why I gotta go down with the ship? Because you're in a point of feeling bad. You know, situations I come across where, you know, if I'm doing good, you're doing good in life, and I get to a point where I start doing a little better than you can't take it. And some people get horrible at this. They do not want to see people succeed. You know, I was checking out. Matter of fact, I got this from Erica Williams, the Classic Climb. Shout out to her and her channel. She was talking about YouTubers, who make a lot of money and just put on like they don't. And it reminded me of when I heard one of the biggest YouTubers in the space. There's a big niche. And they talked about how many subs they actually really had without hiding them, and how much money they make a month, because they do about like 2 or 3 shows a day. And I'm like, dude, like, this is your full time job. They like, yeah. Why do you think I do so many shows? Why do you think I go on? I try to do this, I try to do that, because they trying to make the money, and I don't have a problem with that. Hey, make your money. I'm not a full time YouTuber. I'm not gonna be cutthroat, and I'm not gonna hate on you. I'm not gonna tell everybody don't watch your channel. I'm like, hey, do as you may. But it comes to a point like other people, like they was getting upset. Like, even the point of it is that YouTuber actually contribute to somebody else's channel not being watched as much because of a disagreement, you know? And it was kind of crazy. And the guy was explaining to the other guy that was more or less the bigger YouTuber that you're an adult. If you have an issue with somebody, talk it out on my channel. We're all adults. If you can't come to an agreement, what's going on, Tamika? If you can't come to an agreement, well, you just might don't need to talk to this person. Like, hey, all the people that rock with me, man, I'm about to leave. Everybody come over to my channel. I'm about to start up a live. We need to come over here because this is dead. Like, I'm like, wow. Like, just literally just trying to tell other people to go to their channel. I'm like, what about the etiquette? Like, what's going on? Even with another YouTuber, me and him fell out. And literally, I don't fall out with people. You literally have to do a lot of crazy stuff for me to just not even associate myself with you or deal with you no more. And the dude was just going like left. And then he had his girl coming on other people's channels, pushing them to come to his channel once the channel was over. And it was like you kind of promoting on the channel without even asking, even though you and the guy is cool, but y'all kind of fell out and got back together being cool. Like I wasn't that tight no more for you to be just coming and promoting. Well, I'm going up next, or I'm going up in 30 minutes. Like you're literally telling them to, hey, in the next 10 minutes, you need to cut your live because I'm about to go live. So all your people need to come over to my channel. I'm like, wow, like that's what we doing now. And it was just crazy. Like people just try to block people's blessings for no reason, you know. And Erica was talking on how there's a YouTuber. This guy had this wood panel wall, and he created the same wood panel wall in his, 500,000 whatever nice house because he wanted the people to think he was in that same struggling room like when he first got started. So he created that same wall, probably same pictures and everything to think like, man, this dude is still struggling. He got all these people following him and he ain't doing nothing for his life, man. He's still the same. And, he's trying to push these courses. He's trying to get people to buy into this. Like, dang, he broke. I feel sorry for him. Like, but it gets like that. As long as you're in a place of prosperity, no, you're not really doing so well. You're not to a point you're not really doing good. People are kind of joyful and happy for you, but at the same time, like you're doing better for yourself, man. I see you getting better. But the moment you start shining, like Aki Awakened, he said the same thing. That's why he never really show his jewels like that. He never really show his clothes into his life because he don't want people to get funny with him. Like, man, Aki make all this money off of us buying his products. We not buying Aki products no more. Even though it's health and it could cure some of the things, it's like they rather die than to give somebody money. Like, man, I don't even want to support you no more. Even though it's good, he's helping people. Nah, I can't support him. I can't do this. He makes too much money. Like people are always coming at the pastors and stuff. You give to the pastor because you want to give to the pastor. You ain't got to give to the pastor. And that's where it comes with a lot of people. They don't have to do certain things, but soon as they know you making way more money, oh, they don't want to do nothing. You got it. You got it. There was people in the past I dealt with when I got a little money. Oh man, they was hating. When I started talking about I'm investing, like I keep a lot of my investments to myself. Like I don't even talk about stuff that I actually do more or less than just talk about real estate, talk about budgeting. I tell you that I have, money together. I tell you that I have a life insurance, but I don't go into all my investments. I don't talk about stocks. I don't talk about everything I got money in holding. I don't talk about all that stuff. It's not even to the point. Like prime example, I don't even promote myself on Facebook, which I need to start, but it's more or less to me like the parable in the Bible to where Jesus could do no good in his city because everybody know him as little old Jesus that ran up and down the street and played with other kids. He probably was a little bad kid. He probably was a good kid, you know. Just little old Jesus. Just and he's referred to as little old Jesus. Oh, look at little Chris from down the street. It's like that's why he say he could do no miracles. They look at him as just a regular person. But when he came out of his city, everybody looked at him as something. And it's a shame that you have to be great everywhere else than in your hometown. You know, that's why a lot of people they try to get back to their community and they're not appreciated. You know how many celebrities try to get back to their community, buying things in the hood and trying to give back and it's not appreciated. So they take their money and go elsewhere. Like the old saying, I take my ball and go home, you know. But like I said, I'm about to go ahead and jump off of here. But it just like watch people. Like you got people that love to scam and love to see you down and out. You know, the moment you start telling you have some of the closest friends, um, who was it? Love Wisdom. Not Love Wisdom, I'm sorry. What's her channel called? Cajun Love or Love Cajun, one of those. She been off of YouTube for a minute on and off. She had a channel. But I watched her talk about how her best friend, hated on her, didn't want her to be with her husband, like her literally best friend, been knowing each other ever since little kids. Was mad because she got married, had kids, the kids were doing well. She wanted her life so bad, was trying to get her and her husband to break up, was spreading rumors to people, talking all kind of craziness. And when she was confronted about it, she didn't even deny it. She was like, yeah, yeah, I did you wrong. Yeah, I talked about you. I want your life. You know, I had this same conversation with a friend of mine, but it wasn't to the point where he was trying to, push me down and stuff. He wanted my life because I was married, had kids, you know, had pretty much everything that he wanted. And he wasn't married, no kids, just starting the peak of his career. And I was like, man, just take your time, man. Find the right woman. It'll happen. Now he's married, kids, successful, and he was like, man, we made it. You know, this is one of my real close friends. Talk all the time. Man, we made it. That's all he tell me. Man, we made it. And I'm like, yeah, man. Yeah, we did. He's like, man, let's make it even more in life. You down for the journey? Hey, I'm down for the journey. And hey, as of right now, we do business amongst a lot of stuff all the time. You know, um, you got to have somebody you can trust in business. You got to somebody you can, talk things over. It's good to have a significant other, but then you got to have somebody where, you're able to work with and be sociable with and, deal with things. You know, everybody wants to be a loner. You got to have a team. You know, teams build wealth. You know, Grant Cardone, needless to say, this guy, he's the face, but he has a team behind him. I don't want to go into too many people because, a lot of people have been associated with scamming people, even to a degree they have some dirt on Grant. I don't know how true it is or to the informative that, he's going after impoverished people to invest in stuff. But if his returns aren't matching up, it's not like he's scamming them. He's giving them money back, but to the sum of which they thought they were going to get, it's not there. I can't really go too much into detail because I don't know fully, you know, defamation, anything like that. But at the same time, though, it's like even with Jay Morrison, this stuff with the reap that he's going through, and y'all got to watch out. Look at JT the Pocket Watcher for all this stuff. People like, ah, man, it's hating. JT be hating. No, hey, JT's giving the facts. It's up to you to actually research, know what you're dealing with, who you're dealing with, and get the facts among a lot of things because that's what's going to help you, make your decisions on, hey, do I want to invest with this company? Do I want to invest with this person? Do your research. A lot of people not doing the research, you know. That's the biggest thing with a lot of people hating on you. They hate because at the same time, hey, they want your life. They don't want to see you succeed. So it's better for them to hate on you, let you fall, and reap the benefits of, hey, I knew he wasn't gonna amount to nothing. I knew she wasn't gonna do nothing with her life. So with that being said, hey, watch your surroundings and watch your kids. Watch them bad kids. Because I'm telling you, they get around me. Hey, somebody come get this bad kid before they get in trouble. You know, shout out to the the bus driver in Detroit. That's what happens when you have a child that becomes an adult and don't know how to keep their hands to themselves and be wilding out. Like that bus driver in Cleveland hit that lady, going to jail now, going to jail now. I don't condone nobody hitting nobody, especially a woman like that. But at the same time, like when is it gonna come a point to where adults stop acting like kids? There was no reason for her to touch that bus driver. This man is doing his job, driving a bus. You hitting this man and mad because he said something to you because you started. That's like the same thing with Wanda and Cat Williams when she got her husband and her son to run up on Cat, and her husband's gun fell out, which he brandished and showed the gun before Cat rolled up with his security. But just like Cat said, nothing was never done in that situation because he didn't press charges. If he would have pressed charges, Wanda's husband would have went to jail. Her son would have went to jail. He didn't press charges against it. They didn't even pursue the case. The state should have picked that up. But, hey, that's what it goes down. Yeah, man, Wanda was dead wrong. 100%. She always go after people and then she get mad at the results later. Always. Going after people, then get mad at the results later when other people start coming at her. Every single time. Never fails. You know? And it was two in the breeze. What's going on, Breeze? Hey man, you got that garden ready? Got that garden ready for the new year? Man, I ain't even started with my. I'm about to go over here to get on the Hands in the Dirt channel. Hands in the Dirt. They got Wind Down Wednesday. About to jump off of here now and go check them out. Yeah, man. Yeah, and it's crazy, man. Like going back and forth with the men and women. I was just talking to my wife, and my wife was like, "Man, I'm glad I'm married." She was like, "If any issue we have, try to work it out." And I'm like, "Man, a lot of these women get divorced and leave a good man to be single and to struggle and suffer." And to a degree, some of the things that Kevin did talk about, if that man isn't beating to you, he's excessive, a compulsive cheater, and he's not putting his hands on you, y'all should be able to work that out. You know, and it's just like the craziness between women. Like my wife was saying that a lot of men ain't going for things, and like I told her, I said the most simplest thing men back in the day wanted was for you to cook and have sex. Most of the women that stayed home, their obligation was just to clean the house, cook, and have sex. Now, a lot of guys coming with this 50-50 stuff, and a lot of women don't like it, but it's crazy because it goes like to a whole nother degree. And it just really Cosmo. I'll be doing your name all the time. Cosmology back. What's going on with you? But it's like we have these back and forth conversations. That's why I kind of stepped away from those gender topics. Me and my wife, we talk about stuff like this all the time. And, she was like, it's hard, like for women nowadays. And I told her, yeah. I said, but you got to figure it's even hard for men. You know, we put our faith in marriage and we more or less end in divorce. It's got to be a hard pill for a man to walk away from a marriage. Just saying the least, it's a hard pill for a man to walk away from a marriage. Like it's got to be some total disrespect, just like unbearable cheating or something, just something crazy. I done seen men take women back after they cheated. They didn't want to do it, they hated it, but at the same time, you know, they knew they contribute things to that, you know. And like I be listening to people with these sexless marriage. I, one of my friends, he was like, "Man, I cheat, and I let my wife know I cheated." I said, "Man, I'll leave." And he's like, "Dang, you'll leave a marriage?" I say, "I'll leave. I give a half, all that, whatever it takes. Just go. I don't even want in a sexless marriage. Why am I even here?" You know. And he laughs at me when I crack that joke. I be like, first day, headache. Second day, headache. Third day is nothing wrong with your mouth. And it's a joke to be funny, but it's serious. It's like the commitment in a relationship where, like I told my wife, I said, if a woman cuts, prime example using sex as water. I said, if a woman cuts your water off and and the man goes somewhere else and get it, is he wrong? She be like, well, he should, have some type of reserve about himself, and he should be able to hold back. And I get it, 100%. A man should hold back. But the point of it is, why are you cutting the man off from sex? Like, if it's that bad, y'all seriously need to talk about that. Like, I don't think I can live in a sexless marriage. I mean, even to a degree, let's do reverse. If it's something that happened to me and I become, what does they call it? Impotent, or what's it, erectile dysfunction, whatever, all that stuff, I would just leave. I don't want to hold you back from not messing around or something like that. And need be, I would just leave. Yeah. And that's the point. You know, I if you're holding that man back from sex, it's gonna get crazy. And you can't get mad at the results because you did it. And me and my wife have this talk all the time about that. And it's not even just like her leaving. We just be talking about like issues in which a lot of people go through that's simple and can be talked and worked out. But like for the divorce rate being so high, and it's more or less with the disrespect. Media has a lot to play with it. Media has so much to do with all that because they're letting people know, women, you don't have to take this. You a boss. You can like 100,000. Honestly, a man that makes over $100,000, and a lot of people don't like Kevin Samuels like that, but Kevin Samuels talk about having options, and it gets to a degree with having options. Like I don't have to stay with this woman that's not doing everything I want her to do because I got a lot of money. And that's what Kevin would always talk about. And women be like, well, I can keep him. I know how to keep a man. I know how to do a good man. Yeah, you can have sex with him. You can cook and clean. But it always to the point where if I got options, I can have steak and chicken for dinner. I mean steak and chicken. If I just truly just want steak, I'll just settle for the steak. But that's because I want it and I don't want both. We have these issues like that a lot. And I'm like, the the women that say they bosses and they not gonna deal with a man that makes less than 6 figures, like this whole 6 figure thing, like high value, a man was judged on his character of having high value. He helped out the community. He helped old ladies. He helped his mother, his family out. Those were men that were recognized as high value because of what they contribute to society, not their pockets. Like this whole conversation of a man being high value because of his money. I mean, like, this is some 2020 stuff. My granddaddy was a pastor and a pillar of the community. He did so many great things for people. This guy didn't make 6 figures. Well, he probably did to the degree when I was younger, but now he doesn't. Like he owned his own business and he had a church. So what's going on with you, man? You always be popping out the bushes every so often. I ain't seen you in a minute, man. I gotta chop it up with you. But it comes down to it, man. It's crazy. Like that's why I say I don't even really get into gender topic too much. But just talking about these bad kids and the way life goes, and people try to manipulate and get over on you, you know. But even with this situation, like men and women, we fight all the time over what? To be the boss, to be dominated in a relationship. Women wanna have their own foot in, their own say so. Find a guy that wants to do that with you. Every guy is not built like that. That's the whole point. Like I always say, happy wife, happy life. That's foolishness to me. Shout out to Gold Professor in the 9 laws of self-government. Law number 3, apply selfishness. How can I make you happy and I can't make myself happy? I got to think about me being happy. When you're happy, you spread joy. You can't be miserable spreading joy because it's going to get corrupted. You know, you see guys that, man, all they do is go to work, come home, go to work, come home. They get to a point where it's just getting so depressed to them. Like they get overwhelmed and miserable. Like you don't want more out of life. And then it gets to a point where the wife is like, I like don't feel love, but I pay the bills. I buy you anything you want. I think you can do more. Look, I seen this magazine where this lady got this, or I seen this TV show. Comparing your life to other people's life, no, that's that's like one of the biggest no nos in society right now. That's that what brings more divorce rates than anything. Trying to cater or have your life like somebody else's, you know, and it comes down to the point, you know, it just like bad for business, and even with the stepdad, stepmom, I'm a stepdad. I got stepkids. I get the conversations we have about that, and it ain't for everyone. My son say he'll never be a stepfather. I said, well, hey, that's on you. I don't encourage him. Hey, you want to be like your mom? You want to be like me? Take care of somebody else. Hey, that was something I wanted to do. I walked into a ready-made family because my wife was a good person. You know, she had a good heart. She carried herself well, and it just she made a bad choice. Ended up having kids with a dude that she shouldn't have. You know, and like I told her, I was like, you were so I knew the whole everything how it all went down. She was so happy to get out of the house and do some things that she didn't necessarily, you know, uh garner a lot of the emotions and things not even just even with learning the process about a lot of stuff. You know, her dad, as soon as she graduated high school, they got a divorce. So he wasn't there to like, hey, who is this dude? The whole time, nobody was around her like that. All the way up until high school. She had little friends. She ain't bring nobody to the house. Like her dad didn't play all that. But as soon as daddy left, she started going around, messing around with dudes and stuff. And one thing with left, she had a kid. And, the family ties, hey, deal with this man, make it work. Had a second kid, it didn't work, so she got gone. She's like, I'm not gonna give you no more kids. I'm not messing with you no more. I tried to make it work. It's no mending this. And then time passed, whatever. Then I come along. We have our conversations. We date, deal with each other, get married, and it was some years before we had kids. I was just telling my cousin, I was like, man, it's about four years before we had kids. But it was a thing that I wanted to plan. I didn't want to just date, come in, marry her, so I can have kids off the rip. I didn't. What if I married somebody that was a crazy? That veil where everybody, when you first meet them, man, they're the nicest. You never been in an argument. You never had. That's the best way to determine. You deal with somebody that been in an you been in an argument with somebody, and they show their true self. Like I told you, my wife would always yell, throwing hands up in the air when we get into arguments. And I'm like, why are you doing this? And she was like, ah. I just look at her. After a while, she stops. I say, you finished? And I go on my way. You don't got nothing to say? Nope. And keep walking. After I think probably the third or fourth time I did it, she was like, what's going on? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, why you don't come back and, talk to me or say this with me or something? I'm like, well, it takes two to argue. Other than that, you know, it is what it is. Because my biggest thing with it, why am I gonna be sitting up here yelling and screaming at the top of my lungs with you? And when it comes down to it, if you really wanna talk to me, just talk to me. We don't have to do all this yelling and arguing. And that's when it became after that. We have a conversation about things, and that was it. There was no more yelling, arguing, because that was a taught behavior. I don't know if she learned it at her house, her friends, or whoever she was with, her last relationship. That's taught behavior. You're two adults. I shouldn't have to yell at you like I'm about to fight you for you to understand me in an argument. And when she learned that, hey, it was it. Same thing with me. You know, I was married, got to a point where I still was acting single at that time. I would go hang out with my friends. Both of my friends were single. They would always try to drag me to the club. Oh man, you locked up, man. Your girl got you tied. And I didn't want to be that dude to be like, oh man, ain't nobody tell me what to do. But it was to the point where I was like, hey man, dude, I can't kick it with y'all all the time. I really don't even like going to clubs like that, but I went to the clubs with them just because. Now we go to a house party or we go to a cookout, something like that, cool. And my wife went, cool. If she didn't go, I'm still going. I'm hanging out with the friends. But like it was to the point where like, man, I'm not partying like that with y'all no more. I'm not doing all that. And we got to a point of, hey, I'm not doing all that partying. I'm cool. And she just thought I was a party animal anyway because I would always go to the club, but that was my job. I did promotion, so I got paid to go to the club. So all the times when she thinking that ma he just going out here partying, hanging with these people, balling, nah, that was my job. My job was to go to the club, socialize with the people, then start passing out promotional things, flyers, dealing with stuff like that. Other than that, there was nothing else I, really did like that. Let me look at this phone. I'm actually around here. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Wife. Big C. Not. I don't know. Look at college. She works for fabric. Hey, facts. Man, like having the kids right away, you don't even really know this person. You just like this is the veil that I always talk about, and a lot of people talking about that veil. Men are the same way. Man, I can't tell you how many dudes that have sit there and played the field. Man, went to work with this productive. Like this was crazy. I seen a video. There was a video of a guy. He quit his job and wanted to be a full time gamer or something like that. But it was like the post where the girl, she was like, man, my boyfriend quit his job, don't want to do nothing but just sit here and play games all the time. So she pretended that she got evicted to get the guy to move out the house. She took all the towels and stuff that was messed up, didn't really need them anyway. She threw them away because she was going to get new towels. She kept a couple of them. The food, she started taking the food, giving it all to her friends. And somebody, he likes salmon. She's like, oh, he likes salmon. And I cooked so much salmon the other day because I know he likes salmon and this and that. She said, man, I took that salmon and threw it in the trash. And when he came home, dude looked at the house, seeing how she was cleaning up, getting stuff ready to move. And she was like, I told you we was getting evicted. What you thought I was playing? It got to the point the dude was like, all right, he didn't even put up a fight. What's going on, April Showers? I see her popping up. She The dude didn't even put up a fight. He grabbed his PlayStation, grabbed his bag of clothes or whatever, and he just walked out the door. She was like, "Man, it was that easy." Like I just told him that, yeah, man, I'm not we getting evicted and we gotta go. He didn't even put up a fight, like, yeah, man, you ain't this. I, he just left. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like he just literally left. Yep. Literally left. Just sit there, got up out of there, due to the fact that, hey, she had to play the field just to get him to leave. Like dudes don't be want to do, and like I said, it's on both sides. You got women that do the same thing. Soon as they get a man, me and my friend were just talking about that this morning. How he was talking to this woman. The woman told him that he needs to pay her bills when they get together. Like when they start going together, he gonna have to help her and start paying her bills for her. He was like, "What are you talking about?" And like I was telling him, I said, "This is where the conversation gets screwed. You have women that will say, yeah, she could see the future, but at the same time, Omega, the dude didn't want to do nothing to better himself. And instead of her just coming up saying, get out, this and that, which she was gonna have the argument with the guy, and she just was like, man, I'll just kick you out by telling you that we getting evicted. Like she probably knew that this guy was gonna put up a fight, he wasn't gonna leave. So she literally had to tell him, like, yeah, man, yeah, I'm not doing this. Yeah, like it's a problem. That's the only way she got him to leave. Even like I was saying with my friend early, it got to the point where my friend was talking to the lady and he was like, so you want me to pay your bills and stuff like that? You're like, what, you gonna be coming over my house cooking and this and that, just having a talk. She was like, I don't cook for no man, clean for him. That's wife duties. You gotta put a ring on it. He said, so I'm expected to do husband duties and pay bills and stuff in your house, and I got my own house and we not married. And she paused for a moment. He was like, exactly. If you can't do wife duties before marriage, I can't do husband duties before marriage. And the point of it is, like I was telling him, I said, there's some other guy that did this. That's why she feels she can come to you with the same thing. This guy's an owner operator, run his own truck, make good money. What's going on, Room Shaker? What's going on with you? I heard you over there at the purge. I was in and out. You was cutting up over there. Yeah, it'd be funny. I was in and out of there. It was hilarious. But yeah, man, it's just like the opposite. Like if a woman don't want to do everything far as like the relationship thing, and they don't want to wash the man clothes, cook for him, then I don't think a man should be paying no bills. Like at most, a man should just be taking a woman out and paying for the date. I mean, a man should be doing coffee date. My opinion, coffee dates probably should be the first date because you're not spending no money like that as a man to get to know this woman, and she's not running up a tab. Like that one lady I seen, she was like, "Oh, I had some time, so I called this guy and I told him let's go to the oyster bar," and she spent all that money on them oysters. Like what was it, $30-$40 on oysters? That wasn't even the point of the date, to the point where she got the crab cakes, she got like two drinks, and I think her bill came to like 90 something, and all he got was a drink. He even dipped, went to the bathroom, and never came back. So she paid for his one drink, and she got all the oysters and paid. It was like 90 something dollars. Like, what if this dude was only coming there to probably only spend $100? Which, in my opinion, I think you should at least go on a date. You should be able to spend at least $100 to $150 as a dude if you're gonna, go, or just you bring her to a cheap place. And it's crazy because I never understand guys who ask women where they want to go and then get mad about the prices. If you're bringing her on a date, you pick the place. So you adjust it to the prices. You know how things go. You know this and that. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but even if they do the drinks only and stuff, like sometimes people take advantage. Women will take advantage of a kind-hearted dude just to show us any other person will take advantage of people, and it comes to a point with you having, being taken advantage of, it's bound to happen, you know. And having the issue with people is always gonna be a thing. Like you can't really adjust to people behavior because it's always gonna be a thing with them, you know. Always. If they're raised a certain way, I was listening to one this guy, he was saying there's three things you can't change. You can't change your DNA, you can't change your parents, and you can't change your environment which you grew up in. Most people grew up in bad environments and parents that did them a certain way. It's going to be hard for them to break that. It's like a generational curse. They're going to pass that on to their kids. You know, I was looking at this where they're saying that women were raising the boys to, to try to be tough, but at the same time be sensitive and compassionate to women because they want those type of men. So a mother would try to tell her son to be compassionate and this and that, all the while she's telling her daughter to go out there and get the bag and be rough and get on this on a man, make a career. So I know a family right now where it's a boy and a girl. The mother made the girl go to college. She told the boy she don't think he, got what it takes to cut college. So she didn't really push him. But the girl, she said the same thing. Well, I don't want to go to college. She told the girl, you got no option. You have to go. And she was like, why? You didn't make him go. She said, well, I understand that with him, but you have no option. Why would you treat your kids like that? I treat my son and my daughter equally. You know, if you can't cut college, I'm gonna let you know you can't cut college. I'm gonna tell you a reason why. Now, if you say that you don't want to go to college, I'm not forcing my kids, but you're gonna do something else with your life, and that's the thing. A lot of parents don't push and put their kids in that perspective, and it comes to a point where you know, like these back and forth, the gender war stuff. Like I said, it's bad on both sides. It's dudes that will play the crap out of women, but then it's like I was on a channel this weekend, and this woman was saying how, she admit she was a fool. She paid for things and did stuff for men she shouldn't have. But at the same time, like I was looking at it like, if you know your value, why would you do that? Like, why would you put yourself in a situation to where you paying for all this stuff for a dude, doing all this stuff for a dude, and now you're mad at the outcome because this guy played you. And I'm like, man, like how could you put yourself in that situation? That's all I'll be asking. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm about to get ready to jump off there. I got a call coming in, and man, I gotta go take that. But yeah, man, it's like how could you put yourself in that situation? She knew that this guy was nothing. Like she literally knew she was literally giving this guy money, and I was like, word of advice: I would never condone my daughter, giving a man money. I would never condone my daughter, man, baby. She said she seen her mom do that. She seen her mom. Her mom told her sometimes you got to help men out when they struggling. And I get that all day, 100%. But you can't get mad at the situation when that man doesn't do more for you than what you expect. You met him at this point. He never improved on himself. You got to move on. You know, I'm for men just like I'm a man myself. So I'm a for man bettering themselves and doing things, to better themselves. But If you dealing with somebody that's not bettering themselves and they're in the same situation and never growing and changing, can you really blame that man for not really improving himself? Same thing for the women. I hear so many guys complain about women. I was in the space where every issue wrong with a woman, they found the fault. But when I would ask them, who made you deal with this person? Who made you stay in these relationships with these people for this long? They could give no answer. They just go to the woman's behavior. But my thing is this: I understand women have a certain behavior about themselves, but who's choosing to accept and stay in those issues with those women? You have to choose to deal with that. And I don't understand how people condone. We have fault or we have issue with a lot of the situations with men and women and their behavior, but at the same time, why you don't have to deal with that. If somebody come to me and say, "Man, Imma smack you when I see you," I choose to go to you and I choose to say, "Okay, you said you was gonna smack me, now smack." I confronted that person about that situation. If someone's telling me they're gonna smack me, why am I running in their face to see are they gonna really do it? And that's how it is in most situations with the men and women. It all the all the stuff that we hear online about women, you know, my aunt say, believe half of what you hear and mostly what you know or what you heard or whatever to a degree. But it comes to a point. If there's a situation of fault where you see men do the red flags, everybody ignore red flags. That's why they go through 9 years of pain, turmoil, whether it be man, whether it be woman. They ignore the red flags. That woman ignored that red flag that when she said she went out on a date with the guy, she paid for the meal because the guy didn't have no money. And then the guy ended up ordering two extra meals for his family to bring home. And she allowed it. And she was like, "Why did you do that? You could have just asked me. I would have gave you some money, or I would have did this so you can go to the grocery store and buy some food instead of ordering it here." I would cuss my daughter out if my daughter go on a date with a guy, buy him extra food for his friends, or offer to give him groceries. Why are you even on a date with this guy? Like, how did y'all get to this point? You know, and that means you're going to be taking care of this guy for the rest of your life. But then we'll have these issues that what's the song? Girls is players too. You got songs to where they promote girls is players too. Women would want to be a player and run the man, but they don't want that full responsibility. To have that full responsibility, I'm paying all the bills, you being the house husband, and then one day you just get tired and be like, "This is wrong. I don't want to live like this no more. I don't want to work." Crazy. Yeah. And it's like, why? I seen this one lady, it was crazy. Like, she came home, told her husband she not working no more. She's like, it's not supposed to be like this. The woman is supposed to stay home and take care of the kids, take care of the house, and the man is supposed to go and work. In this day and age, it takes two. It takes two incomes versus taking one income. So for all this coaching and this and stuff that the ladies are pushing, and even these men push this crap. I've heard so many men say, "Man, a woman don't supposed to pay no bills. If a woman gotta pay bills, you broke. If a woman gotta do this, you." When you financially stable, you can talk stuff like that. When you're a man that makes abundance of money and you can go in the house, pay all the bills, and you can take care of everything you want, you can have that conversation to say, but 10, 15 years ago, when you were struggling, you and your woman just got together and y'all would go half on the bills, or she would pay some bills, you would pay some bills. Guys aren't saying that from back in the day. If you come into the relationship with money, then you got it to the point where You let your woman not work. I seen this one with this dude, both of this woman and man, they was going to school as doctors together. The woman just proceeded and got her RN while the guy ended up becoming a doctor. Now, when the guy became a doctor, he told his wife she didn't have to work anymore. And that was the crazy part. Once he became a doctor, told his wife that she didn't have to work anymore. And that was cool, you know. But the point was this. What's going on, AP? Going on? Um, she didn't have to work anymore, and that was cool. But the whole crazy part about it was when it boiled down to it, she was happy she didn't have to work. But if both of them weren't making money, the house would have been even more. Like they were struggling with bills. They was on the actual budget show. I got. I'm actually when I get off here, I'm gonna go ahead and share the channel that I watch where he has couples on there and he talk about their relationships. I probably even show this video that I'm talking about too, to the point where it takes two. Like majority of these shows I'm looking at, a lot of time the wife doesn't work and she complains that the husband doesn't make enough to fulfill the needs of taking care of the house. And when the man who does the finance, who has the financial show, he asked the woman, "Why you don't work?" And she says, "Well, I'm a glam mom. I take care of the house. He makes enough money when we first started, but now the money's getting tight because the more the more money you make, the more you spend. And a lot of people should know that. The more money you make, the more you spend. So that's why it's a need for two working. That's why it's a need for you don't have to split the bills, but she pays some bills, you pay some. I'm never gonna have my wife not pay any if she don't work, that's one thing. But I'm never, you hear me, I'm never gonna have my wife working a full-time job and never contribute nothing to the house. That is foolish for me unless we have an agreement that she's gonna take the money and save for trips. I'm talking about we better be going to Africa. We better be going to the Great Wall of China. We better be going to Bora Bora. Bora Bora is like $10,000 for everything. You gotta take two planes. You gotta take a commercial plane. You gotta take a single engine plane to go to to a small runway that drops you off at one of those boats that goes to Bora. Bora Bora doesn't have a strip. Bora Bora is a small island that you have to get to from the main island. So when it comes down to it, it's got to be crazy for it, dude. Like it literally takes two, and a lot of men they be like, "Oh man, oh I make enough money for this and that," but let that money get tight sometimes. Or let you get fired or get laid off. That house going into foreclosure. Y'all ain't got no savings. Oh, lights getting cut off, cars getting repoed. We never have these serious conversations until it happens. If something was to happen, like right now, I have the finance set for the house. If I lose my job, I can go do some hustling on the side and make money to afford to pay stuff. Same thing with my wife. My wife lose her job, we good. I got different things that I do. She don't have to work for a while, and it's both cases. It's been times where I think when I had stopped my business when me and my business partner had a business, and we just broke up. The business. I didn't work for like 6 months. I was good. It was one time my wife didn't work for a whole year. We was good. Nothing ever got cut off. Nothing got repoed. We didn't get kicked out. you know, because we had money set aside and it got to the point where when I needed more money, I can always go get another job or I could have some other side money coming in until she started back working. This ain't the 70s, this ain't the 50s and all that stuff. A granddad was working two jobs. Nowadays, that second job, He can't get a second job doing security, making it easy. A lot of women are in security. My little cousin is 20 years old. She's a security guard. I don't know what she gonna do when a man run up on her and try to rob them. They don't have no guns. They have a radio. They don't even have a flashlight. Well, what the old saying, man, you ain't got no flashlight. You gotta have a flashlight. You well, where your flashlight at? What is it? Friday after next. Well, where your flash? You ain't got no gun. Where your flashlight? You gotta have a flashlight. And it's to the point where, man, I don't understand it. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of times people don't look at that as being a thing till it happens. Like the adjustment of that money coming in. Oh man, and especially if you split the bills to where you pay majority of the bills because you make the most money. Okay, now that's gonna come a point to where the small bills need to be paid. How we gonna get the money? You know, excuse me. And groceries are expensive. What's up with the groceries? You know, dude, I spent $1,200 in probably like 2 weeks, and I'm like, how? My kids be out of school. My wife, she got mad at me because when the kids was out for Christmas break, we just went to the grocery store and we spent uh I think 300 and something together that Thursday. I went to the grocery store again, hungry, going in there hungry. I spent another $300 in there that Sunday. And she was like, "What did you buy?" Like I bought snacks. I bought a whole bunch of snacks, bought some like little waffles and stuff like that. And she was saying, "Man, you buying all this stuff? It's crazy, man." Hey, that's good. That's good, man. I'm in the process. We looking at our house, trying to see what's the best option. Cause I'm telling my wife I'm just gonna start paying like half of the mortgage with the principal. I'm gonna take half, like she's gonna pay one set, and then I'm gonna take half and pay the principal, and then still pay the other bills and all the other. Like I told y'all, one time we sit there, we was going over our expenses, and the car we had, the note was like, it was a Camry. The note was like four or something, and then in the end, started looking at like the note being four, the insurance being like an extra 100 or two. So I'm like, where's all that money at? And I'm telling my wife, I'm like, what are we doing with the money we had? Like, and then I started looking into it. I'm like, oh, it's me. And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, all these life insurance I just acquired and got. And so she started laughing and she was like, oh, so it's you. You spending all the money. And I'm laughing. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. She was like, so what you gonna do about it? You got all this life insurance. You gonna let some of them go? Nope. I'm like, that's gonna be either the retirement or something happens to me. That's something because Alonzo talk about this all the time, and that's the main reason for me having so much life insurance. If something happened to me, my wife will have enough money that she probably don't have to work for the next couple of years or possibly for the rest of her life. Pay the house off, start a couple of business or invest in something to the point where she shouldn't have to work no more. If she budget and do the money right, she shouldn't have to work no more. And she still have money to give to the kids. That's the whole thing with me trying to get this trust built up together. And man, a trust costs. It's not some everybody talk about this stuff, but nobody knows how much this stuff costs. Oh, I'm gonna give me a trust. Like that's when the people say, "Oh, I'm going to." I've never yet to hear people on YouTube say, "Man, I got a trust," and the first thing you ask them, how much is the trust? Because it's not free. Even a will is not free. You can do like a poor man's will and get it notarized and give it to a couple of people, give it to a lawyer, something like that. But in to a point, that stuff costs, you know. And I'm like, man, I want to go ahead and get it now because my thing of it is I want to take the boys' life insurance and put it in the trust. So, like the Rockefellers, when I did the research on them, how they have all their family members' life insurance in a trust, and they pay into the trust. So when someone dies, their life insurance start paying for other people's life insurance in the trust. So when I have grandkids, I can put my grandkids into the trust. Like I pay it starting off, and then if something happens to me, then the trust will take over and start paying it. So I can put money into the trust to pay their life insurance, and it's a revolving door. So if something happens to me, if something happens, and it happens, accidents do happen. I might be the first one to go. My son, like nobody knows. My wife, nobody knows. But having that money in the life insurance is protecting the family. And the trust is, a lot of people do not doing the research on this stuff. That's what they need. Yeah, I mean, you never really know until it happens. And just saying the least, I've had family members die, didn't have life insurance. How they gonna get buried? That's the crazy part. Oh, my bad. I put myself on mute. Was doing something, but prime example. I had a family member pass, didn't have life insurance. That whole fish frying, all that stuff, and calling people, raising money, and it goes into the immediate household first. Then that's when you start connecting to other family members and stuff. But it was an in-house thing to where we had to figure it out and pay for it in-house. You know, man, 10,000 is some light work. Like even cremation, I remember getting somebody cremated was like $500 back in the day, back in the '90s when my granny passed, and they was talking about cremating her and keeping a lot of that money because it was so crazy. My granny, she had enough money to get this, and she still had money left over to which my uncles and my grandma and my auntie they split. My granny, she got her funeral. Her funeral was up here in Atlanta. She had a funeral at the church, at a big church. Once she had the funeral at the big church, they drove her down to Greenville, Georgia, which is hour, about an hour and a change going towards Columbus. Like LaGrange, it's like where LaGrange is. It's like closer to LaGrange, and it was like an hour and some change. That they had the money to do that. You had to pay for the transportation of the body. You had to pay for the plot in the cemetery and all that down there. When they got there and they was gonna drop the body, they gonna have the service there. You had to pay for, the funeral home company to provide the service there. It was a lot, honestly. But needless to say, it was just crazy how that stuff ran. And hey, when it come down to it, hey, how are you gonna do it? How are you gonna pay for it? A lot of people don't think about that stuff till it happens. Same thing with the bill money. Having savings. You know, on most, like when my roof got replaced, I think my roof was like $5,000. My insurance paid for it. I just had to pay the $1,000 deductible. My my home insurance, and it was crazy because I didn't get my new home insurance to pay it because I switched to another one because they gave me a better rate with my car insurance together. So the crazy thing was this: I ended up having an insurance, I think new insurance the first of the year, and I went through this company. They was real good. They worked the deal for me. But the craziness I did with my prior insurance company, and I didn't know that you having homeowners insurance when you switch. if something occurred, like my roof was messed up during the time when I was switching, if my roof got messed up before and they seen the damage prior to, they end up replacing my roof for me. So there was no ding on my new homeowner's insurance that I had that I ever did any claim with it. It was on the old one, but I canceled the service with them. That was crazy. Yeah. And it's crazy. Like even I got a home warranty. My home warranty, my refrigerator went out. They gave me 2,200. I didn't know refrigerators were that much until I went to go shop for one. Refrigerator's like $4 or $5,000 now for a refrigerator. Like I noticed I'm not never getting a fancy refrigerator with the TV on there, all that stuff. Like they're good technology, but they're not refrigerator like Samsung and LG, they're tech makers. They're not like appliance makers. So their appliance suck. Like every one of those LGs I got, they messed up. I didn't want the Samsung one after that. But man, crazy. And man, I gotta go. Gotta deal with these kids. I just pulled up. My kids just came home from karate. But yeah, man, get your kids in line. Like, hey, watch out for these people with this behavior and this man and woman relationship stuff. Hey, whatever floats your boat. I told my wife, I said, if I didn't marry you, I would have stayed single and been happy because I love myself. A lot of people don't love themselves. Man, I got a partner right now. This dude about to be 50 this year. Come no next year. He's about to be 50 next year. Never been married, never had kids. He's happy. You know, he wants a good wife, he wants a good family, but at the same time, guaranteed this dude is happy. He like, man, I'm good. I'm good. He's like, hey, if it meant to be, it meant to be. If these women don't act right, he said, me and this hundred some thousand so-called high value they want to call it, I'ma live peacefully by myself to myself. And I'm like, man, hey, shout out to you, bro. Do you think? But once again, you know what I always say when I jump off of here? We here and we gone. Peace. Real talk. That's why I'm gonna change this to real talk. All right now. Peace.